I'm Tyler Joseph Krasowski. I am from all over the place, but primarily the greater Chicagoland area, a suburb called Naperville. This show encapsulates, I think, primarily everything that I do. And it's a show that looks like 10 different artists, which is something that I enjoy, knowing or just being aware of the audience. And I definitely kind of like to play tricks and be humorous. This show goes from my attraction to printmaking, relief specifically, and then drawing and all the different styles of drawing that I employ, and all kinds of different papers and surfaces that I employ. I like to use things that are very pedestrian, I guess, in a sense, that are super accessible to anybody. You don't have to go to an art store. So my preferred tool is the Ticonderoga No. 2, mostly because the eraser is the best in the biz, and I think I erase more than I draw. The versatility of what I do is what keeps everything fresh. So I usually have I have a big photographic woodcut, much like the one behind me, and I'll have that sitting and work on that on and off for a couple months, and then desk doodles going, and then maybe some other drawings on envelopes. So anywhere almost within arm's reach, I've got something that I can grab and start and get. Pretty much once I get going, I get lost, which is one of the big reasons I think I do what I do. Every waking moment I can get in there. It's a live and work in studio, so my flat file is under my bed, and I can wake up and just walk in the other bedroom, and it's full-blown surfaces to work on. I came to the University of Montana to study forestry. I wanted to be a firefighter, and the orientation was pretty intimidating. I was never a good student, but always just a curious one, and enjoyed science, and didn't score very well, and so my mom at the time had also made an appointment to meet the arts department. So, and it was Bobby Tilton was the chair at the time, and she had this cake on top of a giant bookshelf. So it was just way more comfortable, way more my speed, since I had been drawing forever. I mean, kid in the basement drawing or drawn in class. But at the time it was never something that I thought, I would be. It just kind of happened, I guess, by doing. When I was living in Florida at the time, I was in 4th or 5th grade, and our neighbors, there was this couple, Carl and Dean. They were both artists, and we were new to the neighborhood. My parents became really close with them. They noticed that I was drawing a lot, and they would sit down and show me a lot of tricks, and they also, I think, were big on letting my parents know, like, hey, this kid's in 5th grade. I feel like maybe that's the time when a lot of kids stop drawing as much and pick up something else, and so they're definitely like, hey, this is kind of special. As a student, James Bailey was definitely a big mentor, so he specifically pulled out a lot of things that I was looking at or was into at the time, and then even after school got me in, I think, this collection, a few other collections around. So he was definitely a great inspiration, and I feel like most of the faculty as well, but specifically James, and also Marianne Bongiorni was definitely more of the whip and chain type of mentor. But she definitely just made me grow up a lot, I think. Jim was, I don't know, he was one of the first classes I took with him. He's like, yeah, ask your parents to get you a ruler for Christmas. So, I think just being alongside a really good printmaker, and all the different aspects and variables that you employ on a certain matrix, like registration. And I just didn't care about that as a student. And eventually, yeah, it started to stick. So After school, I definitely, you know, are you going to get a job? How are you going to make a living? And because I just took the leap and had some, right after school, had some really big sales and some really big connections just kind of fall into my lap. And I was like, whoa, I think I'm able to do this. And, you know, I sacrificed a lot of intimate relationships, sacrificed a really nice bed. I usually slept on the floor. My dream, what I'm working for, which will hopefully in the next 5 years would be to build out some sort of giant barn where anything holds, you know, I can do anything, play music. Been talking with a few other friends about the possibilities of doing weird film shorts and like whatever. Like I'm limited to what I can do in my space, which is drawing and printmaking. So, but I would not like to be limited to those things, and that's one thing that I guess, yeah, I would love to pass on to anybody making art now or is starting to make art. Like, you can be a printmaker, you can be a painter, you can be all these things. You don't have to be just one. Even though, yeah, this show is mostly drawing and prints, but yeah, you can be a scientist who draws on the side, whatever. Art's everywhere. Everything becomes something. One of my main missions is just is lead by action, like a silent leader. And like, I grew up playing sports. I grew up very competitive and playing football, playing hockey, skateboarding, playing music, and in all of those things and anything that you do is do the best you can, keep challenging yourself, and just do, you know, don't talk about it. I feel like I've brushed shoulders with a lot of people and creative folks and whomever that just talk a lot about what they want to do and never do it. And so for me, I've just put my head down and, you know, like I said, I've definitely sacrificed a lot, but it's that self-satisfaction to give myself some sort of purpose. So that fire, I don't know how it stays lit, but it seems to keep going, and having an opportunity to show all of this work and these things that interest me are really special, and I think that's what keeps this ball rolling. Trying to slow things down, I feel like, especially in this fast-paced world, we get caught up with like immediacy, like, I need this done, I'm sick, I want to get better now, and you know, like all that stuff, and really just need to like cool your jets. And so that's something I hope to employ when I'm doing these drawings, because I sit for a while with these things, and it does become meditative for me to do them, and it quiets my brain. And like I said earlier, I get lost, and I hope that the audience can feel that and feel the calm effect of you know, what repetition and almost madness. When you see it, you're like, ah. But when you really spend time with it, there's a power going on, an energy. And I haven't really, I mean, I have it in my studio, but seeing all this different type of work interacting with each other, it's taken me back, which I hope anybody who walks through can feel that, because I want nothing but good and positivity.